I was looking back at some comments from women that are joining our Facebook community because when you request to join, if you have not joined us yet in there, when you request to join, we actually ask you what you might be struggling with so that when I go to make episodes, I can actually create episodes with topics that I know are going to help because that is what you're dealing with in this season of life, especially. So, when I was reviewing these, Amber had a great one and it was about prioritizing when there just isn't enough time to do it all. And we all know that feeling. There is never enough time to do it all. So today, I actually want to share 4 ways that you can help filter your priorities so that you can actually determine what is most important and what you can let go. Are you ready to stop the chaos, the stress, the overwhelm that's filling your life? I'm Renee Matt, and together you and I are going to build simple routines that are going to change your life. When you put these habits into practice, you're going to be able to organize your life in a way where you can be there for your family, pay off your debt, save money, your house can stay organized, you don't have to stress about what's for dinner, and you still get time for yourself. So without further ado, let's get started. Welcome to the Routine Advantage Podcast. I am actually totally feeling this topic right now because I was recently taking a couple of different vacations. So I've had a lot of time away. And I think that's the beauty of podcasting is that I'm hoping nobody really realized too much that I was away because I can batch record and post them and have them set to go. And Clara's in the group, like responding to people to make sure people are getting their questions answered. And it doesn't feel like a ghost town in our Facebook community, and it has just been absolutely wonderful. And we took some time away, but when we came back, life happens when we're gone. Even if we're not here to deal with it, things are still piling up. So I love vacations, but I also am kind of overwhelmed when you get home because of all the things that need to be done. So I'm kind of in this space right now where it's just there's a lot happening both in our personal life and at work, and I'm trying to sort through and prioritize what needs to be done first. And so this is really great timing because this is actually what I do as well with working through these 4 things, and you can do all of them, you can take one of them, but there are definitely times in our life where we just feel so overwhelmed with trying to prioritize everything and trying to determine what is most important for us to do. And if you feel this way periodically, or maybe this is kind of just always your state of mind, this is going to help you because there's a way to filter through these to allow you to not feel so stressed about everything that has to get done because life is going to continue whether we get our tasks done or not. And our peace of mind is so incredibly important. So, hopefully, these 4 things will help you to start to create a system in your life that allows you to take what is most important and not stress so much about all of the other things. So, I'm hoping this will help you. But like I said, this one came from Amber, and what she had said was there are just too many things that feel like a high priority, and there's not enough time to do all of them. I need help figuring out how to do life in a way that isn't making me feel like a constant failure. This one is so dear to my heart because it's like, I know this feeling so much, so much. And I'm sure many of you do as well. And so we're going to go right into the 4 ways to filter priorities to help determine what is most important. And the number one thing I want you to do is to choose by your values. And what I mean by this is, I want you to really sit down and think about what your values in life are. And this is a really great time to do a little journaling. And I know if you're feeling overwhelmed and like everything is chaotic and you don't have enough time to do it all, that sitting down to journal is not going to be your number one priority. But it is incredible on the peace of mind that it can give you. And I really want you to take this time, whether it is in the early morning before anybody gets up, whether it's late at night, maybe you even need to, have your husband or your sister or your mom or somebody, your friend, somebody, watch the kids and go do something. Or maybe you just need to go stop at a coffee shop and bring a notebook and then just sit and kind of tune out everything that's happening around you, or send the kids outside to play, and you can do this at your kitchen table. Wherever you can create a space that allows you to just think through some things and get it down on paper is going to be so beneficial, because you're going to want to really decide what is most important for you in your life and for your family. Because if your values are to spend as much time together as you can, then you're going to need to focus your priorities on being able to spend more time together. So, allowing things to come into your life that are going to pull you outside of the home or pull your family in all different directions is something to really look at and consider if that is where you want to be spending your time. And there are going to be a lot of different things that you can choose for your values. And I don't want to give you a ton right now because I can do a different episode on that if you would like me to. But I want you to just really sit down and think about, if you could create your ideal life, what would that look like? And what would be most important to you? Like, what is truly valuable for you, not just in this season of life, but just in life overall? What is most important to you? And that is what I want you to first think of. And if you need help really figuring out what your values are, sometimes just brain dumping everything that's important to you is a really great idea. And then just go through and highlight which ones are the top. And then kind of just keep filtering through that way and choosing what is most valuable to you. Because this is something that you can sort through your tasks. You can do it with your family or your kids' activities, and then just highlight them. And then you're going to kind of basically determine, when you're doing this exercise, you're going to kind of determine what is the very top priority, what is the most important to you, what is nice to do if there's time, and then what can just go. Because when you start actually filtering through, you might realize there's a lot of things you're spending your time on that don't have any value in your life. And those are things to really consider on whether or not you want to let those go. So, choosing by your values is incredibly important. Number two is to plan your week every week. And this one does not have to be fancy. You do not have to have a paper planner if you don't want to spend the money on it, or it's just not a priority right now. You can literally take a sheet of paper every week and just draft out your week if that is the best way for you, whatever works for you. But you do want to make sure that you're planning out your week, because if we don't plan out our week, we have no idea what kind of structure our week wants to take. Because if we're not planning it out, we're just flying by the seat of our pants, and whatever comes in just comes in. Where if you are planning it out and taking time, even if your schedule doesn't go to plan or as you have planned it out, you still have a layout where you have taken the time to prioritize everything, make sure everything fits in that you want to get done. And then when something else comes up, it allows you to be able to look at your week and say, okay, now I need to look at this, and I can either plug it in here and shift things around, or I can move something to a different day because I have a little more flexibility on that day, or something needs to go. But by planning out your week ahead of time, that allows you to see how you can restructure things. Where if you don't take the time to plan it out, then what you're going to do when something else comes at you is plug that in when it needs to happen. But then all of a sudden, everything else that you were kind of thinking needed to get done is going to kind of shift because you're making room for something else. And then all of a sudden, you end up at the end of the week and you just have a massive pile of things to do that you never got to throughout the week because of poor planning. And I know I've done this so many times, and I have learned from my mistake. And this is something that is easily solvable by just sitting down to plan out your week, because it gives you time to really prioritize and sort through everything before you're actually in the thick of it. And that is very important. So, like I said, you can even grab a sheet of paper and just write out your plan. Focus on writing out where your commitments are, where you are plugging in those priorities, where you can plug in those other tasks that need to be done throughout the week, and just get a visual plan of what is happening. It doesn't have to be super structured where it's like hour by hour. But if you'd like to do it that way, especially in the beginning stages of trying to get things done and trying to plan out your week, maybe that would be super helpful. That is actually how I started to plan out my week. And then it got a little bit too structured for me and I had to do it a little bit more flowy, but that was a really great eye opener for me to see like there just is not enough time in the day and this is making me prioritize what is most important because there just isn't enough time and I need to choose between a lot of different things on what is going to get built into my week. And then the third way to filter is to make sure that you are using your routines that are most important. So, the five foundational routines that I teach on, I think apply to everyone and will help you create a smoother, more balanced life. But those five are your morning routine, your meal planning routine, your daily seven home routine, which is a cleaning routine if you're new here, your movement routine, and your budget routine. And those five, I think, apply to anyone. So those are really important to plug into your week as well. But you might find that there are other things that you need to create a routine for. And a lot of people are scared when I say routine or when anybody talks about a routine because they just feel like their life doesn't have enough structure or that's too much structure for the life that they want. But what I absolutely love about routines is that they actually create more flexibility in your life because rather than focusing on these huge, ginormous tasks, we can take a routine and really condense what is most important in that area and get it done in a really short period of time. And if our day does fluctuate where we can't do something, in the morning that we had planned on, we need to get to it in the afternoon. Routines are generally very short, so I can just shift it to the afternoon and get something done really quickly if I need to. So, for example, like if you are focusing on, like, say Saturday, I try not to clean on weekends, but I don't know why I'm using this example. But I'm going to say Saturday is your big cleaning day, and you right now focus on everything that needs to be done. It's not focusing on very specific things. It's just knowing that Saturday is cleaning day and you're going to reset the house. But that takes an entire day sometimes. And that is no fun. It makes you exhausted by the time you get to Sunday. And then you feel like half of your weekend is taken up. But what if you could really prioritize and go through the daily seven home routine, build your routine so that you have seven or less priorities that you need to do in your home and really condense that routine so that you can get all seven of those priorities done in 30 minutes or less. And then when you get to Saturday, if that is your only cleaning day that you can do, you then know exactly what you do step by step. And you just work through those seven tasks as quickly as you can. And you now have your home reset. All of your priorities are done. And you have not taken up the entire day just trying to clean and stop yourself from getting distracted, pulling yourself in all directions all throughout the day trying to clean your house. So it's allowing you to get a lot of stuff done and be very productive in a short period of time. So you might find that having those five routines is perfect for you. I pretty much stick to those five, but I do have some others that are just not quite as I don't wanna say rigid because rigid is not the word, but not quite as structured as a routine, but I do have, like, getting ready in the morning, getting ready for bed at night, like, there's types of things that I do that are outside of those 5 foundational routines that you might find that you want in your life too. If you have school-aged kids, do you have an after-school routine of knowing exactly what steps need to be done when you get home from school, or your kids, what they're doing when they get home from school? If you are homeschooling, what are you doing to end your day? What are you doing to begin your day? Are there like steps that you are taking to really like signify the beginning and the end of the day and signal to your brain that that portion is kind of closed for the day. And it's not only for you, it's also for your kids because when they know that school is done or you're coming home from school and they know like these are the five things we need to do right away, then it allows them to kind of close that part too in their day and then move on to the next thing. And when you start to really think about what routines would be beneficial for you and then start plugging those in, it allows you to actually create a lot more space in your day and you feel a lot more free, even though you're probably going to be a lot more productive. It is a crazy phenomenon, but routines are so crucial in helping us to really organize our day and organize our time in a way that allows us to live really good and fruitful lives because we don't want to be feeling like we're just being pulled in all directions and stressed all the time because that is no fun. And then the fourth way is to just brain dump if all else fails. Like, that is the thing to do if you are struggling and you don't know what to do or what step to take next. I want you to just grab a sheet of paper and just write down absolutely everything that is on your mind. Because when you start writing a list, and getting everything out onto paper, not only do you not have to hold onto it in your brain where it just exhausts you trying to think of everything that needs to be done. I don't love to do lists, but this is a beneficial way to get everything out onto paper. And then once you have everything written down, then you can go through and kind of sort it by priority. You can either sort it from the top priority to the least priority and then just start tackling them. But if your list is really big, you might want to take one step before you start tackling anything. So, brain dump, write everything down, and then before you even start accomplishing any tasks, you may want to filter through it and look at what you can do right away. If it's only going to take you a couple minutes, go ahead and just do it and get it done with. And if you can plug it into a different day, go ahead and do that. Write it into a different day and then cross it off of your list. You can also delegate something where if it doesn't have to be done by you, whether this is at home or at work or anything like that, if it doesn't have to be done by you, see who can do it and ask them if they can take that task on so that you can get it off of your list as well. Or look at it and ask yourself, does this actually need to be done? Or am I just stressing about it? Because I know for myself, there are a lot of things that I mentally put on my list that don't actually need to be done, or at least not right away. And I just get them off, and then it helps me to really prioritize. But I know a lot of times I can just filter through that list with these kind of like questions on whether I can do it right away, put it on another day, delegate it, or get rid of it. And once I get through that, my list is so much smaller. And then at that point, I can start tackling from the highest priority and working my way quickly down the list. And that's where I love my timer and my concentration music to really just hammer things out. But that is something that you might want to do if you are struggling with everything else, just get it into a brain dumped list and start prioritizing that way and ask yourself those questions to help you filter through and see what is most important. But as you're going through these, even if you use all of them or one of them, just remember that you're not alone. And we can make these small steps to just each of us get better and improve little areas of our life that as we start making these super small changes and just make them consistently, 6 months down the road, you're going to see yourself and you're going to look back and be so floored at how much progress you've made because you just didn't give up. And that is the biggest thing. You need to give yourself grace. You need to give yourself space and time to reset and recharge and make sure you're taking time to rest. And by doing these four things, it will allow you to open up space in your day because you're going to focus on the things that really need to be done and to just open up space in your day. And that is just amazing. And it feels so good when you can do this. And if you are struggling with doing this, you might want to do it with a friend too, because there are so many women out there that are going through the same thing that we are. That if you have a friend that can help you filter through these things too and talk them out, do a little planning session if you need to, whether it's virtual or in person, whatever you want to do there, or do it with your spouse, you need to do what works for you. So, a really quick recap on those four ways to filter your priorities to help determine what is most important is number one, Choose your values. This is where you go through and you determine what is most important for you and your family and in this season of life. And you can ask yourself, once you understand your values, you can go through anything that's on your list to determine what is most important, what is nice to do if there's time, and what can just be let go. The second way is to plan your week every week. Do not skip these weeks. You need to know what your week entails to be able to know what needs to take priority. And you can filter by your values. So you're going to want to plug in your commitments, your priorities, see where you can plug in other tasks, but make sure that you are getting your values in there as the filter of planning out your week. The third way is to utilize routines, not only the five foundational routines, but maybe there are others that you want to create for your life. And the fourth way is if all else fails, just do a brain dump, get everything out onto paper, and then either start tackling it from the top if it's a short list, or if it's a long list, go through it and filter. If you can do it right away, a couple minutes or less, or see if you can plan it for another day, delegate it out to someone else, or simply cross it off your list if it doesn't need to be done. And that is how you filter through, and then you can start tackling it from top priority to least priority. And those are the four ways that you can do. And I hope these help you to start getting some organization in your life on what needs to be done and what you do have time for, so that you also have time and are making time for other things that are truly enjoyable so that you can enjoy your life, because that is super important. And one of the things that we have going on our Facebook community, if you have not been around for a little while and you have not heard, go ahead and join us in our Facebook community right now, because through November 17th, it's happening right now, but through November 17th, we are doing our 14-day declutter challenge. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, maybe this is not the challenge that you want to be doing, but it's also a really good time to get rid of some stuff in your home so that maybe you don't feel as overwhelmed cleaning and things like that. So it actually could be a very beneficial thing for you to do, even if you are in the space of feeling very overwhelmed. And benefit is that all of these daily challenges can be completed in 15 minutes or less. And every day you participate, then you get an entry into our drawing, because we have some prizes too. So you don't have to start from the beginning. You can go back and complete those challenges for extra entries. But whenever you're hearing about this, as long as it's before November 17th, you can get in and come in and participate and tackle those declutter challenges so that you can start opening up some more space in your home. And if you want to join us, it is in our Facebook community at facebook.com/groups/the routine advantage community. The link is also in our show notes, and all of the links for everything for us is in there. And to contact us and ask questions if you need to or anything like that, you can just reach out to us at any of those links. So I hope you have a wonderful day. If you are feeling overwhelmed, I pray that you have some sense of peace and that one of these four ways is going to be super beneficial for you. And you have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you next time. Did you love that episode or learn something useful? If so, would you do me a huge favor? My goal is to grow this podcast and help as many women as I can break free from the overwhelm so they can truly enjoy their life. The best way for me to do this is for you to leave a 5-star written review on your podcast app and to share this episode with a friend or in your Instagram stories. I appreciate you being here. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next episode. Take care.